Right, welcome to the August meeting of the Financial Committee. Start off with apologies for absence.
We've received an apology from Councillor Peter Howden. It's been accepted.
Thank you. And then item 28, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the requirements of the Local Government Act 2011 and to consider any requests for dispensations in respect of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interests in agenda items. None. Item 29, to receive the clerk's report. We have no clerk's report. Simple, isn't it? And then item 29, to resolve to approve as a correct record the notes of the meeting of the Finance Committee held on 4th of July and to authorise the Chair to sign the official minutes.
I can't vote on that, so I wasn't here, so.
No.
Oppose? Second.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's it. Item 30, transactions for payment. To resolve to recommend a full council list of payments due for July invoices and to review 10 invoices at random to ensure transparency.
The one under councillors for fuel for training, £51.39.
Councillor Howden.
Right.
It's when you went
Oh,
to
when you went
training
to
with
the-
yourself
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the LAUC offices.
Okay.
There's not a lot really to check because they're all self-explanatory, aren't they?
Well, they all say what they are, don't
Yeah.
they? Yeah. If I just, well, if I just give you the detail on the one about the track days for the car show.
Yeah.
That amount is what the total was for all three prizes. However, I paid for them directly, so that's a reimbursement to me,
Okay.
but the cost of them has been covered by the sponsorship from one of the businesses, so that has now been paid back into the bank.
Okay,
So
excellent.
it's just a,
Yeah,
To inquire.
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
Thank you for that. Scratching.
The Peninsula,
Mm-hmm.
that's for ongoing staff issues.
Yeah,
Okay.
the cancellation of the.
Dogs on lead signs.
That was requested for College Bank.
Which was that one, sorry?
Dogs on lead.
Dogs on
Yeah.
lead, yeah.
Still
I've got that signed.
Yes,
It's been taken by Rachel in it this morning, so I've got the sign.
Water at Poo Brokers, we were looking into this, aren't we? Because it's, well, Jan was looking into it.
Yeah,
Because it seems very expensive, doesn't it?
well, Jambers actually requested that Colin take a meter reading. He came to the offices, didn't he, last Monday, and has taken a meter reading, so
Yeah.
we want to see what.
We
he's
took the
doing
right
with
those because I saw them.
that. Yeah.
So is that just for 1 month then, or is that for,
It's a month, I believe.
okay, so
A
that
lot of
is
money.
a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I'm sure when Colin actually did it, it was pretty accurate.
To about, because it's the following date and a couple of days after
Yeah.
they'd,
So the reading was right.
was it
That's
by
what the
digit
copy
or a
bill.
couple of digits, so it was correct with
Wow.
Bill,
the bill. But also excessive usage, but we're not using it excessively, but it's
Yeah.
going somewhere.
So presumably we've got the standing charge that you have to pay and the sewage charge, which
Mhm.
is whatever it is. But it's the usage is still looking like it's excessive, isn't it?
Seems to be.
Mm.
But I don't understand why, because we've only got one kitchen and 2 toilets.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there's
Nothing
anyone
else.
else who makes a drink. They don't have, they're usually reheating the same water.
Yeah. It just seems an awful lot of money.
Yeah.
Mm.
I know they did say to Jan to do certain tests first, see
Mhm.
if we had any leaks or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
How many's that then?
That's 5.
Metal benches, Jubilee Garden.
They're the ones, one to go around the tree that's on the gravel bit,
Mhm.
and the other one is going to be positioned around another tree which is yet to be planted.
Colin's just been to collect them
Oh,
today.
right, okay. And again, they have been funded from the donation from a lady that
Yeah,
left us.
£500 first, yeah. And we're going to anchor them in then.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
looking at how they, that's why they've taken them away. They're going to look at how they can actually anchor them in.
Okay,
Mhm.
good.
The zero turn mower. Is that, just thinking that that's higher than what was expected, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
top VAT on it, covers it.
Right, okay.
Yes, it has, because it was 7 and a bit, wasn't
Yeah.
it, without that?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say because the net total was 6850,
Yeah.
and then the mulch kit on top.
Mhm.
PA system, just for future events, or is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was bought so that we could use it for the car show, but yes, it'll be able to be used now for...
Did you use it on the car show then?
It was used by Royals to do their commentary.
Yeah, yeah. And it
Because
works
we
all right.
didn't really need it that
Oh.
much for ourselves. But yeah, I mean, they seem to be quite happy with it. It is able to be charged, so it's a battery operated one as well as being mains.
Yeah.
So once it's fully charged, it lasts about 8 hours.
Oh wow.
So at least then, if you're in the middle of a field somewhere, at least you've got, you
Yeah.
don't have to always have access to electricity. So,
Good.
Two more, please.
2 more. Go to the varnish.
We're going to do it, that's me, and we're going to do a trial on one of the tabletops. So we're going to whack 2 coats of varnish on before the second one's dry. We're going to sprinkle it with those coloured pellets that we bought a few months ago. And once that varnish is dry, we're going to give them another coat of varnish
and then see
Stick
what
them
it
in.
does. Yeah.
and to see what they look like.
Mhm.
And Colin's also asked him to prepare a table because we don't want to do it on top of the condition of the woods in at the moment. So he sanded one of them down slightly so that it just got a clean surface.
Mhm.
And Vicky and I plan on doing that tomorrow, I think.
Just one more, please.
Office 365 councils. Is that a monthly fee?
Yes, that's the monthly fee. Much cheaper than the G Suite was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But we only have the number of licences we need for the councillors at the time. So as we get more councillors, it goes up.
Okay.
Goes up and down,
I think it's £3 something per council.
Not bad deal then. So can we have a proposer in the second? So item 31, the financial statement. To resolve to recommend to full council to approve the financial statement. For that 31st of July.
that's the one. There's £50 discrepancy because we've had 2 payments in of £25. We know who they're from, but I've got no invoices to match them against. They're regular payments for rent. So there will be, we've recorded them because they're on the bank statement.
Okay.
But it does, I think it does agree.
Yeah. Want me to sign that then?
Yes, please. And that's the Savers
Bank.
Bank
Right,
group
yeah.
that's reconciled
Yeah.
to that one that agrees. And the only other one is the CCLA. That's the last figures we've got on there,
Because you haven't
and
got the
haven't
latest
recorded
statement,
because we
yeah.
haven't got the latest statement.
Well,
But I can't see any other transactions
no, I don't,
anywhere for that one.
I don't know if it was any outage or not, I can't remember.
Yeah, there was some.
Yeah.
We've got it in the
Yeah.
Barclays
So
one.
we've recorded it as it is and recorded why.
Okay.
One question on the balance sheet. In relation to the elections, does that money sit on there constantly for if we need an election? Because I know we've got an elected member that's for that election seat. Does that transfer out there? Or does that stay there?
Well, we need it there permanently, don't we?
Yeah, normally what we
reserves.
used to do, we put it in the budget every single year, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then it often got taken out. But really, you should have one in reserves all the time, just in case there's an
Yeah.
election.
No, that's fine.
It's £5,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we don't know if we're going to get charged for the council, do we?
No, you shouldn't do
No,
it
we won't,
because
we shouldn't have the election charge because it's
Oh, yes,
uncontested.
Uncontested, yeah.
So.
it's good for us.
Yeah. So can we have a proposer and a second, please?
Yeah.
All right, and third one. Thank you. Item 32, review of outstanding receipts of the monthly budget review. So Mr Harding and Mr Moore still owe us allotment rents. Mr
Yeah.
Harding's only 16p.
That's the 16 people.
That
We
was
don't
just
know what
listed,
to know.
yeah.
Is that the due date correct for Mr Moore? 1st of October?
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah, so it's probably.
Okay, so that's probably why he hasn't paid it.
Yeah. It's how that is when they're entered, how they're recorded.
Yeah.
I don't think the new ones have been probably set yet for that date, and it must have been one that
Yeah.
have been done.
So then we've got some outstanding cemetery costs, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
From Links Co-op codes. Morrison Lane owes quite a lot.
Morrison, which one was it? We've had a cheque that's got to be they're resending it to us. I think that's for MJ Coates. They're for later pay, the older invoices.
Yeah.
I have contacted them. They're resending us a cheque, should I say, a cheque.
Okay.
So that'll knock those off. I think it was for £200 and something. I have received a cheque.
210.
Yeah, I have received a cheque in the post this morning from Lincolnshire Co-op. So
Yeah.
I've got to,
240.
yeah, so I've not recorded it as I can't get to the bank to
No, that's all right.
bank it at the moment.
Most of Morrison Haynes ones are quite recent, aren't they? It's more when you've got the memorial masons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it takes a while for it to
It does.
sort out, doesn't it?
yeah.
But yeah.
And Mr. David for the medieval group has tried to pay his bill today, the £60 outstanding, and he sent a screenshot to say that it didn't exist. So he's had a look for me, and it is the correct details, so I've asked him to go back and try again. And if not, to get back in touch, so he was just about to pay that one.
Okay. And then the other one was a calendar competition sponsorship, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
that can be removed from them.
Okay. ETC electoral, £25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really bothered with that, are we?
Mm-hmm.
And then part of this is the monthly budget review as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a read through, with the exception of fuel and the man down systems, everything is looking tickety-boo.
Mhm.
To be honest, fuel we can't do anything about, unfortunately.
No.
It is what it is, isn't it?
But then, I mean, that would be something for your contingency. That
Yeah,
would
yeah,
only spill
if we
into
have
that,
to, yeah.
if you have to.
Yeah. While we're discussing budgets, we all know there's a need for CCTV to be installed in Cars Park. I think logically the cost of that's going to come in around about 7,000 for Cars Park. That's for one camera to cover the Jubilee Garden on a 6 metre high pole, and then another pole to go on just the other side of the pavilion in the grass, which will have 3 cameras on, so that'll cover the tractor shed in that area, part of the play park, and one towards the pavilion while we're using it. But again, we'd be able to move that later on if we decide to move from the pavilion into the workshop.
Mhm.
So, I suppose what I'm trying to say is, where are we going to get the money from? Because we haven't budgeted it.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest that we take £10,000 out of reserves and build it up at the end of the year, put it back in at the end of the year with what we've underspent on things.
Mhm. Well, you can literally, if you decide what one it's going to come under, you can bring over the amount from reserves that's needed.
Yeah, well, we should know by Friday. I've asked them for the quotes by Friday.
Yeah.
So we could take it out of the 10 grand contingency.
Mhm.
Mark's kindly
I mean,
offered
I mean,
paying on
yeah,
this committee.
I was going to say, the other thing I was going to put to open space is the fact that we've got 10 grand on projects for this year.
Mhm.
Now, there's nothing really in the offing for projects for this year.
Mhm.
Our drive was for projects for next year. So there's the potential that we could, subsidise some of it from the open spaces projects. We know that, there's not going to be that 10 grand there to spend because of the overspend on fuel
Yeah.
and such like. So, which is why we're not
If
looking
we possibly look to do only Cuts Park this year and then
Depending on what
move
happens
on,
with the
then we can
chapels.
see what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chapels are cheap because the cheapest quote for that with 5 cameras was only less than 2 grand.
Yeah, it's not
So
much, is it?
not
It's
really
the poles and everything that cost a lot.
Yeah.
IT in the budget, it says we spent £2,131, but we've only got £500 in the budget. Where's that coming from?
I'd like to find that first. Sorry.
It's on the first
Oh, we
page.
spent 426%.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, because I was just thinking about, have we got any IT related spending that we could pull little bits from?
I don't know. I can work with Sharon when she comes back because I know she's been shuffling some of the budgets around. hasn't she?
Yeah, that might be one that hasn't had a shuffle yet.
Yeah.
Because email systems is obviously, that's Microsoft 365, computer equipment and licenses, that's going to be your Realtas and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is just that
Yeah.
IT one that is, I mean, it's not much anyway, is it? But
if it's actual year to date, it's the actual spend, yeah? Well, Realtas is going to cost us a lot more than 167 for computer equipment and licenses.
yeah,
So it's probably the Realtas is sitting on the IT.
could be. Yeah.
I would
Moving
think.
Yeah. Which still means that will go over budget, won't it? But yeah, I mean, you've got bits and pieces in reserves that you could pull across.
Yeah. Well, the money's definitely there if we want it,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I would suggest is once the quotes have all come in, if there's any element like the posts that we can actually do ourselves that's going to reduce the cost, then we need to look at that.
Yeah, I mean, the quotes are
Inclusive
based
of
on us doing all the groundwork.
us doing all the groundworks, which is nothing major anyway, is it?
No,
It's 2 small trenches and
Okay.
2 1 metre cubed
concrete base.
concrete blocks
Right.
fit for a base unit to be installed on that. But we can certainly look at the poles.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just another way of reducing down
Yeah.
how much it's going to cost.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I mean, there isn't, from my point of view, on open spaces, I can't see there's any reason why we can't use some of that budget. Like I say, there's nothing major that we're going to be looking at now. There were things that we were looking at when we set the budget, but some of those have been put on hold because other things have come into play. So, yeah, we're not likely to use that element, not this year. We may use a bit of it, but nothing.
Well, anything's going to help, isn't it? So.
But I think when you come to getting the quotes in on the CCTV, it might make sense to table that for full council. So
It is already.
Is it? All right.
Yeah.
Then in that sense, every committee's around the table, aren't they? So we can then say 2 months from there, 3 months from there, whatever, and then.
Yeah, well, Jan said the correct way of moving money is it has to actually be agreed by full council
To move it from
to move
budget
it
to
from
budget.
budget to budget, so makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So even if we dip into the contingency, we don't have to dip into the reserve yet.
You can make a decision of what you want to do, can't you?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else on the
No.
budget that's...
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Item 33. And to resolve to agree the dates for the asset and stock review. It's something we try to do twice a year, isn't it? And we haven't done it this year, financial year yet.
Not this financial year, no, we did it last year, didn't we?
So,
We need to schedule in a date and get it done. We have, I mean, obviously we've been clearing some of the...
yeah, so they have to be removed off the inventory list, don't they? All the assets.
If they, I don't even know whether some of them are even on the
Okay.
list,
No,
but
There's no financial here anyway, so don't worry.
but we can look at, I mean, I haven't looked at the list as it stood, but I think a lot of the things have been in that safe for that long that nobody even realised that they were still there, to be perfectly honest.
all
But
the
yeah,
stuff that is valuable you can now see and you know where it is there, so...
yeah, so there's actually extra bits and pieces to do, I mean, like the PA system that needs to be put on, so yeah, I mean, we can look at it, I mean...
I don't know where Jan's the asset tax.
Oh, there's some in cameras, yeah.
I think the best thing we can do is while you're off, Mark, if you're happy to work alongside Jan to do the parks side of it.
Yeah.
Because it's always best if there's somebody else there.
Yeah.
We can work the way through that, and then, I mean, I'm happy to come in here and help Jan out, or Sophie will help Jan out to go through everything that we've got here.
Yeah.
I mean, update everything, and then at least
Fine.
if it's done before we start thinking about budgeting, we know where we're at, if we're going to need any new pieces of equipment or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so when did you want to sort of do it then? In the middle of August?
Yes, one of me.
I mean, if you arrange, if we aim for mid-August for both,
Yeah.
and then we can arrange times and dates to suit them, can't we?
Alright, middle of August then. Item 34, to resolve to agree the purchase of asset tax for the service
So we
rate.
need to resolve to agree the...
Okay, sorry,
Thank you.
I'll propose them.
I'm jumping ahead of myself. Okay, item 34, to resolve to agree purchase asset tags for the cemetery.
Right.
I'm not allowed to use QR codes, because Rachel doesn't want them.
And it's also easier to read a number than a scanning.
Yeah.
So I've been looking, because obviously Rick did the prices for asset tags before. They're quite expensive-ish. And to get the numbers that we want, it's going to be quite complicated. But you can get ultra-resistant labels, which are waterproof, chemical resistant, etc., etc. About £40, and print our own. We just need a laser printer, which I did ask Stephen. He's got one in his office, and we're allowed to use it. So I think that's probably going to be the easiest way, and then we can just sort of do it as we go. There are about 3,000 labels in that pack. They're about 4 centimetres by 2 centimetres, so they'll be really nice and discreet. So if one does come off, we can always replace it.
Because I'm all right in thinking that the gravestones are supposed to have the grave numbers on them,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but we don't enforce that, do we?
No,
we are now.
But
We
it
are
should
now.
be.
yeah, we need to be
That is one
on
of the
that.
things we're
Yeah.
asking. We are. It's just a bit too late for someone on Part Road Cemetery.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
problem.
Okay. £40 not a lot of money, is it?
No? How many was that for, sorry? 3,250, I think.
I just need to propose it and second it, please.
Propose.
So, item 35, to resolve to agree the price of the actual connection in the Jubilee Garden. I believe we've had some quotes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got two.
Do we know how soon each one can actually get it done?
Because that would be I mean, there's not much between the two quotes. It's a
Well,
little
one's
bit.
including that,
Yeah,
and
one's
one's
including,
excluding
one
that.
excluding.
So that does make a bit more of a difference,
Yeah.
but
I mean, obviously we'd prefer to go for the cheaper one.
Yeah.
But it is about when they can actually get it done.
But it's got to be done before the open day, hasn't it? Official opening.
Ideally, but I mean, if it isn't, it isn't. But we need to get that to, the conduit sorted out because it's just getting strewn everywhere.
I would propose we go for the cheaper quote.
yeah, there's a decent amount between them, isn't
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
I mean, we've got enough weeks available to get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's ridiculous and they're saying not until October, then
Yeah.
that's a different thing altogether. But if they can get it done within
Yeah, it shouldn't take
a
long,
reasonable
really.
time frame,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go for the cheap one.
You think that'd be a couple of hours job, wouldn't you, possibly?
Mm-hmm. And that means we can get the conduit taken away as well.
Yeah,
That's not needed.
and while we're doing the electoral quote, can I just ask about the stage? Because you were going to look at,
Oh, AstroTurf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we've got some mega weeds coming up at the moment.
Yeah, I think
haven't we?
AstroTurf and pond liner are
Yeah, the only
outstanding,
thing
aren't
is though with that stage area, because obviously the soil has sunk down, you now got a gap anyhow.
You
So
need to
really
lay it
we've got to think about what is going to be logical to do.
Yeah,
It may be just at this stage just to spray it off, and then as we get extra soil, we just keep compacting it and then
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
sorted out next springtime.
well, there should be a pile of soil from somewhere, because we didn't use it all, did we?
They have used some of it for topping up graves,
Okay.
etc. So I don't know, but we need
Right.
to, it needs tidying up.
Well, I believe there's a councillor who's got 190 in his back garden.
Yes,
So,
yeah. So we need, if we can get that sorted.
yeah,
One thing Rachel did say about that is there's some sort of sage that is like it's like a carpet,
Yeah.
and you
Oh,
get it
yeah,
up in
yeah,
like bright pink or
um,
whatever.
Yeah,
You've got,
she's talking
like,
about.
That red thyme, haven't you?
Yeah, well, you've got chamomile as well, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you knits together.
I'll
So
put
yeah,
it
you
in the
can do
garden, but
that.
it does take time,
It
it's
does.
not a quick fix.
Yeah, it's not a quick fix.
No,
That could be nice.
But it'd be quite nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
So it's still the only problem you've got with AstroTurf is the keeping it clean.
Yeah.
Mm.
Whereas that is similar to like what grass would be. It's very low growing, but it's
Yeah.
you can still walk on it and
Yeah.
it wouldn't
Yeah.
damage
I mean,
it.
if we could get it sprayed off and then topped up with
And
topsoil,
Yeah.
we have still got some in the budget, so we
Yeah.
can afford to buy enough plants to
Mhm. Yeah,
so that
yeah.
they start to knit together.
yeah.
Yeah.
It may be worth looking at.
It will neaten it up, won't it?
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing.
I mean, I know there's chamomile. If Rachel's got other ideas of another one that would work, then we
Sage,
can.
definitely.
Right, so then if we can look at, I can look into it, look at
Mhm.
prices per blank, because you can buy them in bulk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But it will be, we'll have to get that sprayed off before we can do
Red
it.
creeping thyme.
Ah, that's it. Yeah. Saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect, wouldn't it?
yeah. But also,
And
I
because
think
as
the
well, that
Yeah.
will stick, it'll be fine in full sun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, definitely.
So if I look at costings for the plants,
Mhm.
it may not be that we won't get it done quickly, but at
Right.
least if we can cost that in,
Yeah, yeah.
get it sprayed off initially so it's
So it looks
tidy.
better.
Mhm.
Yeah,
top it up with more soil,
Yeah,
and then as soon as it's able to be planted, we get it planted.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good to me.
Mhm.
So can we have a proposer and a seconder for the electrical connection?
Yeah. Yeah.
All agreed?
So do you want me to contact the
Yeah.
cheapest one and
Mhm.
find out a date and
Yeah.
obviously get back to you with the dates?
If it's
Yeah.
ridiculous, then.
Can't see
A firm date
Yeah.
before the 27th of August.
Yes.
Item 36, to discuss and resolve to agree to recommend to full council the way forward with the old dipper boat tow. And we've had a meeting, an unofficial meeting this morning, haven't we,
Mhm.
between 5 councillors. And the general consensus was we could get it repaired for less than £400, wasn't it?
Yeah.
360.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, my only concern is Jan's concern, and that's, are we covered by insurance or not?
Mhm.
Or by our insurers if we do our
Well, for
own?
them doing the work, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
so I suggested this morning that we wait until Jan's back on Wednesday
Mhm.
and ask, we can then email the insurers or,
Mhm.
Yeah, it shouldn't be any different to them maintaining the other equipment,
shouldn't be,
basically,
yeah,
I would have thought. And
Yeah.
if they're happy with that, then
yeah,
It should impact it.
it shouldn't
No.
impact it.
no,
And we will still be sending them out for servicing from a
Yeah.
reputable company. We're not
Yeah.
servicing them and doing everything ourselves.
well, we did say this morning, there's no reason why we can't do the basic servicing.
Yeah,
Yeah, oil
basic
changes,
stuff,
that's
oil
all.
change and stuff,
Yeah.
absolutely. But yeah, once a year it needs to go somewhere
Yeah.
to be checked over.
But, was it you recommended one this morning?
No, it was
Oh,
Steve.
Steve, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I know, yeah. And Sophie was just telling me.
EWL or
Local.
something.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think as long as it's checked to make sure that, you know, them doing the work, we are covered,
Yeah,
then I've got no problem with them doing
Which
it.
we
Well,
should
it's
be able to
gonna
get
save-
that answer before full
it's
council.
going to save 1,500 quid anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, if you felt the need, then you could ask somebody, if we've got somebody local that's prepared just to check that the work is okay, you know, for little or nothing, that's fine, but I don't think
I just-
it's necessary,
I don't-
to be honest.
I just think if they were going to be fabricating their own equipment,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
different
it's
altogether.
different story,
Yeah,
but they're actually buying
Mhm.
prefabricated, fully warranted
yeah.
equipment
Yeah.
Yeah.
from a third
And all they're
party.
doing is actually fixing
They're
it.
just putting it together.
Yeah.
If they replaced the belt, they would take it apart
Yeah.
and then re-put it back together.
Which
So-
is what they do anyhow.
Yeah, so
Should be general maintenance.
Yeah.
shouldn't it?
so from a maintenance perspective, I don't personally don't feel that the insurance would have any issues with
No.
that at all.
No.
Um,
But Jan's our
Yeah,
responsible officer,
Yeah.
so we have to go by what she tells
Yeah.
us, don't we? So,
Well, I'm happy to propose that we do the work, subject to the insurance coming back.
Yes.
and I think we just need to be careful on what we say to the insurers and try to go,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
just
Well,
confirm
we
it.
don't want to tell them to do a complete
No.
rebuild.
well, I think, if you're saying that, you know,
General maintenance.
it's general maintenance, but it is on a larger machine than they would
Yeah.
normally do. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when we've had the chipper and they needed to change the belt,
Yeah,
they
they
did
did
all
that.
that.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's not much different really,
No.
is it?
And if
No.
when they did that, did we go back and ask the insurers if that was okay for them to do it?
No.
So it's, you know,
It's general wear and tear, that, isn't it?
I think it'd be worth getting it from the insurers anyway, because I don't think we've ever asked them
No.
generally.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just get it sorted
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then. it should
Instead, we
be
do
fine.
have it, then that.
Yeah,
I mean, even if they were to come back and say, no, you're not covered, then that throws out a whole raft of questions about, you know, if you're doing general maintenance on everything you have,
Mhm.
if we have then got to then cost that in to do that, every time it needs to go
That's
somewhere,
ridiculous, yeah.
that's a ridiculous amount of money, and
Yeah.
quite frankly, are we ever going to need to use the insurance, you know,
Yeah.
for them doing it? So you've got to weigh up,
Yeah.
is it worthwhile just ignoring what they're saying, because
Yeah.
you're not likely to claim anyhow,
Yeah.
Mm.
to save yourself a huge amount of money.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Mm.
like I say, I could appreciate it if the machine was 3 years old, it was still under warranty,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
but
not.
it's not.
No, and the parts will be under warranty, won't
Yeah.
they? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the proposer and a seconder then, please. Thank you. Item 37. Over to Sophie to discuss and resolve to agree the new phone system
So,
required.
basically, the phones currently, the only one that rings is the main one in John's office. Is it the transfer button and all those things have stopped working. So we need a new phone system anyway. And then when Stephen was in the office the other day, he was talking about, is it VoIP?
Voice and
Yeah.
VoIP, yeah.
Phone systems, and we were talking about the different benefits of them. It would be able to save us money because you're not going to have to be paying for your normal phone system. And also, you could also transfer calls to other mobiles, etc., rather than just within the office. So what did happen a lot with the car show, people were ringing up saying, oh, can I speak to Isabel Hutchinson? Then you have to take a message, then ring, etc., etc. But you could just transfer straight through, and then that would save more time. Yeah.
Ring me because my mum never listens to her phone.
And it would give us a lot more functions for like being on hold, different messages. It can link into the email system for when somebody's on holiday and fill
Yeah.
out those messages. So
I had a look at the document. There's no prices on there, isn't there?
no, there's no prices on there. You have to. I think you have to get a quote. But BT do various different options.
Yeah.
I would say their basic plan is perfectly fine. You can either pay as you go in terms of calls and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can do monthly allowances a minute. It's a bit like just normal mobile phone,
Yeah.
and you can do unlimited as well. And then it's just the actual handset that you have. There's loads of different ones out there. You can get a perfectly decent one because I presume you'd want a mobile one that you can walk around with. You can get them for 70 quid, and then there's a spare one for
Got
30.
2 free ones in the office at the moment.
Yeah. So.
There's no documentation that's come out for that, is there? Point 37.
I put it in there, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's not loaded up for some reason.
They come up online.
Has it?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
on here, but it's on here. So, but yeah, it was just it's the BT Cloud Voice. It's there.
Well, it hasn't come down on mine either.
Has it not?
Looked at it.
No.
Yeah.
It's not on the updated document.
So, in that case then, because you haven't got all the information, the best thing you can do is if we
Look into it.
look into it, put your documentation together. If you've got everything ready, then it could be added into a finance item under full council.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
think because I didn't find all the documentation anyway ready, but what we need to do is compare the price of that compared to our current system and see if it's making saving, then that would be good to
If you
do.
go down to about the last page of the document,
Yeah,
there is a link on there to download the prices for all different options.
is there?
Hmm.
Okay, didn't see that.
It's in very small writing.
They always do that. Yeah, so I think if I can review that, the two different bits, I'll speak to Karen about the pricing for our current system, and then
Yeah.
go from there.
So we'd be happy to agree that we do that then and present it to full council next week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, either or, you're either going to have to buy a fancy new
Yeah.
handset, or you're going to have to buy a new handset
Yeah.
anyway, because they don't work. So. Okay.
Proposer and a second and then read. Okay. I believe we're done. Department 37, the third date of any of the next finance meeting. And that'll be Monday the 5th of September, March back at school then.
Yeah.
So we've gone for 5 o'clock.
Unfortunately, we won't be here.
No, we won't.
Won't you?
We just have to make sure Peter had on the 10th that one.
Yeah,
You'll be
so
alright.
you...
Where are you going this time then?
Scotland.
Again? Hasn't changed, you went there last year.
Yeah, we did
It's
go
still the
last
same.
We go a different place.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only other option is if it looks like somebody's not going to be available, we go on the Saturday. So if you needed to, you could do it at the end of that week,
Yeah.
if you needed to,
Okay.
if you haven't got enough people.
Well, you're here for the spaces, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm sure we'll be alright.
Yeah.
One way or the other. Meeting closed then at 14:40.
Mhm.